Oh, we're live. I didn't even get to do the the countdown.
That's okay. Hi, Shayna.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So guys, really sorry about this being late. First we had to help Miss Suzette. It was her first time logging on StreamYard. And then when we finally got on here, started the episode, guess what? Again, I forgot to hit go live. So we did this great episode that wasn't even being streamed. Then when I figured it out as we were starting to end and I was going to click end stream, it wasn't there. It said go live. And I was like, so then we sat here and laughed for about 15 minutes. We're trying not to do it again, but
we're not going to do it again.
Oh, this is what happens when a Gen Xer starts trying to do YouTube.
Anyway. That's okay. That's okay. We had fun. We had a lot of fun. I'm not even mad about it. We're good.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Yeah. And thanks for the laughs. I needed that.
No, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. My pleasure. Okay, guys. So today I am interviewing Miss Suzette Rozen. She was originally from Bronx, New York, and she moved to Toano, Virginia in 1997. Welcome, Suzette.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on my show.
Yeah, super excited.
Yeah. So, tell us about your journey of finding Subto. When did you join Subto and why? What made you join?
So I joined Subto April of this year, and one day I had joined a mentorship back in November of last year, and it wasn't as fulfilling as I thought, and there was something lacking. So one day I was scrolling through the Bigger Pockets podcast, and I heard about Pace Morby, and I was like, "Who's this character? Who's this person, Pace Morby?" And so then I watched one of his YouTube, and don't laugh at me, but I watched it for 6 hours, and 6 hours turned from 6 hours to 12 hours, and 12 hours turned to 24 hours, and it was like a whole, like, I think it was 3 days of watching and taking notes. And then, that he, at the end, he says, I'm not selling you anything, or you don't have to purchase anything from me. And literally, I was like, well, I got to get into this mentorship or community. And that's what I did. So I joined the community after that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us have a similar story. I mean, I was listening to him in the car, driving, in the shower, while I was cooking. I was just like, with wide eyeballs, right? So, like, what was it that you really loved about Pace and Subto the most? Like, what was it that really kind of drew you in?
So I have, this is my third house, and during my second house, we had bought it back, I think it was 1997. I think it was 97. The height of when there was the big market crash. And so during that time frame, we were trying to sell our house. We couldn't sell it for the price that we thought it was worth. And so we ended up having to do a short sale. And so when I listened to Pace and the Subto, and I was like, oh my gosh, wish I had known about Subto, because then I wouldn't have done a short sale. And then it drew me to want to help other people that would be in my same position, that would be like, either have to get into either foreclosure or have to do a short sale, when really creative is out there and it is able to help you. And I did not know that information, and I wished I did. So that was the reason why it was more of a heart thing for me. So I wanted to make sure it was my priority to help other people understand that there's other stuff and other ways out there to sell your home.
Right. And yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't even know about subject to or seller finance. It's actually been in practice for hundreds of years. But everybody's been buying with mortgages over the last God, I don't know how long, 50 years or so?
I
How
was saying
long mortgages
roughly.
been in play? Yeah. So, I mean, Pace didn't invent this. He just kind of resurrected it and brought it to, the public view. And it's actually how houses were originally bought and sold, houses and real estate. And yeah, I mean, people were already doing subject to on cars,
Yes.
over the payments. For those
Yes.
of you that don't know, subject to is like taking over the payments that are already in place on a loan. And then seller finance would be, the person selling you said thing becomes the bank and they finance, they take payments from you instead of being paid all at once.
Correct.
Yeah. So, what are your passions and areas of focus in real estate and sub two?
So right now I am catering, and I also want to do a lot of creative financing, buy and holds. And so those are the things that I want to focus on right now. And because I am in Gator, I am able to help certain students or JB with anyone that needs JBing with.
Right. Okay. So, for those who are watching and aren't really in sub two, can you explain what a gator is?
Absolutely. Well, I'll put in Pace's words. Basically, we lend money for those wholesalers who are looking for, they're putting the earnest money down, like an EMD, on a specific property, and they need that fund. Instead of them coming out of pocket for it, we will help fund that, but then we also take a chunk out of it for giving them that, utilizing that money.
So you said EMD. So usually it's for a shorter amount of time, a less amount of money than like
Yes.
a private money lender.
Correct. So the difference between the private money lenders are you can pay them back over time, like some people like years. With the gatoring, it is usually 30 days or less. And so when you do that, and it's usually a less amount of money, it's usually like no more than $15,000. It can be range from 1,000 to 15,000, and
Okay.
it's usually from a shorter amount of time.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're in the gator, you
Sub
are
two,
also sorry, what was that?
not to say sub two, Gator, Project Forward, and Zero Down, which is one too
Oh,
many.
wow. Yeah, the Zero Down is a new program where he's teaching us how to buy businesses
Yes.
with creative finance. So, you are a buyer. You're also you said you like to buy and hold. Buy and hold would be anything rentals, long-term rentals, Airbnbs, anything like that, right?
Midterm rentals, yeah. So any of those types of um, prod, properties I like to hold on to, yes.
Yeah. So this is what we call a buy box, guys. For those of you who don't know, and this is the criteria for properties that Suzette looks for. Did you
Yes,
freeze on me? Oh, okay. Wow, you
yes.
were so still. I was like, is the internet being
No, I was like, I was reading.
I was like, she's being so still at the internet freeze.
No, I was
Okay.
reading the box. I was like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't realize that was showing up there.
Um, so if you're a wholesaler or a beginner investor, here is her buy box and what type of properties that she's looking for.
Yes,
If you do have properties that you need to wholesale to an end buyer, you would understand this criteria. This is her criteria.
yes.
Okay. Do you have any advice for someone just starting out in the sub two community?
Oh gosh, that is a very loaded question. I would say for someone who's starting out in the sub two community, don't don't get frustrated. Don't think that you're by yourself. Don't do too much overloading content. Pace yourself, literally, and do all your due diligence. Do not just go
Just
out.
automatically trust.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
don't
like us realtors say, trust but verify.
trust but verify 110%.
Mhm.
110%. Yes. I had to learn a very expensive learning lesson. And
Wow.
so for me, it was just, it's one of those things you're so eager to get out there and do your first deal that you forget to look at the small stuff and try to make sure you check, double check, triple check all your numbers, everything that is there. And I think for me, it was more of like the little numbers I was missing. And they don't tell you everything, but you need to know all of everything.
Right. Yeah. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You got to
It
give
is
yourself time. Don't be too hard on yourself.
absolutely
Yeah, you need to give yourself time to learn the process. You can't just automatically be a rock star, right? You got to learn how to play the guitar first, right?
exactly play strings and break a couple in and keep it going.
Yeah. Um, can you tell our viewers kind of what it's like joining Sub 2, and then I'll share my experience as well, and then so they can kind of get an idea.
Oh my God, joining Sub 2 is amazing. It is literally a community. You ask any questions, everybody's ready to dive in and help you. And if they don't know, they will find and help you figure it out. And there's so many smart people, so many smart people in here that I feel like they're a dictionary. The things that you ask and they come up with. Um, Everybody's willing to help. You make your 50 friends, but don't just make 50 friends like acquaintances. I like to make 50 friends, deep friends.
I've never seen or been around a group of people who are so giving and so willing to help
Yes.
and so willing to teach
Gosh.
and
Yes.
work with you. I
Yes.
mean, the positivity in this community is, to me, I mean, the real estate is important, but that's like so much more that like you can't put a price on that.
No. And they are a lot of giving people in there. A lot of giving people in the community.
Yeah. It's a super refreshing change.
Yes,
Yeah.
and Pace kind of, the leader of giving, and so you kind of want to match that anyway, because it start what they say, it starts from the top, and so you emulate, and then you do the same thing, right?
Yes. Yeah. I call him Big Brother Pace, even though I'm older, a lot older. But anyway, um, okay. So, are you a visionary or an integrator?
I am definitely a visionary. They say don't sweat the small stuff, but you need to sweat the small stuff, and which is what a visionary doesn't do. They don't literally look at the small stuff. I do have a little bit of integrator in me, but I am definitely a visionary.
So, yes, me too. I feel like a lot of people in Sub 2 are visionaries.
I
It's
think so.
like, you like he just sparks that visionary in other people.
Yes.
They spark it. But yeah, so for those of you who are watching, there is a book called Rocket Fuel,
Yes.
and it talks about two main successful business personalities that when they come together, your business will just explode. Um, so a visionary personality type is the one that comes up with ideas and is like loves to be public facing. And I mean, there's a lot of those outgoing type personalities. The integrator can, be in the public, but they would rather kind of be behind the scenes. Taking everything from point A to point B, organizing. They're really good with systems and processes and details. And when these two come together in a business, sky's the limit. So Disney actually was an example of that. Like Walt Disney was actually having a lot of problems until he
His brother.
partnered with his brother, who was an integrator, and that's when just Disney just took off.
Yes.
So
And it's interesting you hear the story about the backstory of how they came together and being an integrator and Walt being the visionary. So yeah, definitely a good book to read. Um, and highly recommend it before you do anything else.
Yeah.
figure out who you are.
Yeah. And then I think on the first time around, before we were actually recording, we were
Yes.
talking about avatars. Did we talk
Yeah.
about that?
No, we
Since
have not. So avatars is a very good. So Pace talks about this and tells you basically there is a Zoom that we have to watch to actually kind of tell us who we are. It doesn't tell us who you are, but you it kind of makes sense to figure out who you are and what your strengths are.
right,
And yeah, so when you go through this particular video, he talks about, someone who does direct to seller or calls direct to agents, or if you are a buyer, or there's multitudes. There's like 15, I think, of those different types of avatars that he breaks down, and he basically goes by your personality. So based on your personality, this is what you should focus on. And when you focus on that specific avatar and you work in that avatar for however long, and you become more successful in that business of what you're trying to do, that's the reason why he does that, is to kind of make you feel and understand who you are, because you don't want to be stuck in something, doing something that you're not. You don't want to be calling.
Yeah, you're not going to be successful if you hate doing the thing that you're supposed to think you have to do every day. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah, because a lot of times we talk about wholesaling and stuff like that. Not everybody wants to talk to a seller. I mean, so it's like if you don't want to do that, then that's not your avatar. You figure out your avatar and then you work in that specific avatar. And then he also tells you, when you're getting into this business, to actually join a team, so you're not feeling like you're alone, and you also see how they actually do their networking, their work, as how they build their business as well. So that's another thing to do as well.
Right. Like, do what you do best and delegate the rest, right?
Yeah. Be a helper. You could be a helper. That's another avatar. To be an helper.
Yeah. So then you find the people that do the things that you hate doing or that you're not that great at, and you pair up with your strengths or their weaknesses, and their weaknesses are your strengths, and it could even be more than one person, right?
Yes.
And you work together.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, he's really good about dissecting things and showing you how to do things successfully.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Love it. Yeah.
So, your buy box is still there. How can people get a hold of you if they want to do deals with you, or if they want to reach out to you?
They can get me on Facebook. Instagram is another. I am in Discord, but that's usually for Subto students.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two places that you can find me.
Perfect. All right. Thank you so much, Suzette, for coming on the show. And thank you for doing this episode with me twice.
I won't judge you.
It could help with the nervousness, though, right? Yeah, the dry run. You realize you were having a dry run. So then the second time you're like, cakewalk.
Exactly. No, this is actually perfect. I am no longer nervous.
Good. See, I told you it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Yes, it was my pleasure.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks, guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And if you get a chance, I have another channel here called the Gen X Files, and we have 2 episodes that are airing this weekend. Where did it go? Here it is.
You need an integrator.
I need like a video person. Most of the time it goes smooth,
Anybody out there who's an integrator, head up Shana.
Yeah, there's a learning curve. Yeah, I need somebody to help me with all this stuff. All right. Thank you so much for being on the show, Suzette. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend, and
Thanks.
we'll see you next time.
All right, bye.